Hello there, you're very welcome to the first ever episode of the Lads podcast. I'm Daragh.
And I'm Steve. Thank you all for joining if you're here. And if you're not, well, fuck you, huh?
Yeah, fuck them.
Straight away we'll get the
Insults.
people in. And yeah, exactly. Insult everyone.
Insult our brand new listeners in the first 10 seconds.
Well, do you know, the ones who didn't come, they,
suppose they don't know.
Yeah,
we're
they don't. So I'm
literally
saying fuck you to no one.
We're talking about them behind their back. Anyway, so this first ever episode we've decided will be on the leaving cert. Nice and topical.
Very topical, yeah.
But before we do that, we're just, I suppose, going to give you a little bit of an introduction, a bit of a background, you know, what am I listening to and why? So we thought of a fun idea. So instead of spending half an hour chatting shit about ourselves,
we could do that very well.
We could, and I love to talk about myself.
And I'd love to talk about you.
Steve's very good at talking
I do
about
it
me.
all the time.
Even when I'm not here.
Yeah, behind your back, I always do it. Like
So, Steve, in a minute,
Aye.
give us a bit of a background on yourself. Everything Steve Collins.
Do I have to go first?
Do you want me to go first?
Will you go first?
I will, Steve.
Go on, you go first.
Okay, a bit about myself. So, you might know me online as 3Me. What's 3Me? So about 4 or 5 years ago, I started making YouTube videos under the alias of 3Me, and then about just coming up 3 years ago, we started doing sketches together, and that's, I suppose, why you're here. You know Steve and I from the sketches. Other than that, what do I do? Oh, God. I work in customer service part-time in a call centre. Love it. What else? Yeah, I'm a freelance videographer. People give me money and I make them videos. But since the pandemic, there's been no work. I have an undergrad in multimedia. I have a certificate in digital marketing. I like Netflix. I like movies. I like podcasts.
And you're a big virgin.
I'm a big virgin in every sense of the word.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
How long do I have? 20 seconds left?
You were looking at the timer there. Like you've got the upper hand here than me.
I do. Yeah.
That was good. No, I think it was good that you did that first now.
Thanks,
because
boy.
it was a good introduction to. Because fuck's sakes, why would you start with me? I'm only the tag along.
You're not.
So I suppose I'll start now.
You're not.
I'm Daragh's
not
sidekick.
Anymore.
I'm Daragh's
no, I like this. Keep going.
So I'm Steve.
The sidekick.
Oh yeah, it's hard enough, isn't it?
It is. All right.
No, yeah, look, I basically, so actually, do you know what? I started, the only kind of video relevant experience I have, remember we used to do brick films, stop motion animations with Lego when we were kids. We used to do that all the time. We used to upload them to YouTube. So that was kind of the only thing I had creative when I was younger. Okay. It was good fun, but I gave up and you kept going. Then you got into YouTube and doing all that, and that brought you to 3Me. And I went off and did music in college. You did? I did a load of karate training. That's a big part of me. And now I'm a scaffolder. It's great crack. And that's me. Is that a minute? I'd say I actually wrapped it up nicely.
Ah, you did. You were way better than me. Yeah. Oh shit.
I'm going to take over. I'm going to take this thing over. Like, you know.
You will.
I am 3Me. Go on.
I will say about you, in fairness, you have a very varied CV. It's like
it's mad.
Degree in music, karate instructor, scaffolder, actor, podcast host.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
So in fairness, okay. So why are we doing this podcast? So I can give a little bit of a small background story to that. I think, so obviously podcasts became very big kind of 2017, 2018 with the old adpocalypse.
That's it, so 3 years later we're jumping on the
and we were like, hey, Steve, got this really good idea.
You know, it'd be a really good idea.
Yeah, sketch comedy.
Yeah.
90s sketch comedy.
Yeah.
And it was about a year ago, I was like, will I do a podcast, the 3Me podcast, me chatting away on my own?
Right.
And I was like, nah, it's not really interesting, nobody would want that. And then it was about the end of last year, about October, November.
See, Daragh, nobody's going to want this either.
What?
This, like...
Oh, no.
This isn't interesting
they're getting
either.
It anyway.
Like, they're getting it anyway. Like,
here you
can't just add Steve in and say, yeah, no, they'll want it. Look, fuck's sakes, you know, we're going to talk about things, but we're not big researchers.
Well, you're reselling it.
You can't go around the place and say, well... The lads and the lads podcast said this, because it could be complete bullshit, right?
I would love that.
We're just, do you know what you do? You pretend that it's pre-social media and pre-internet.
Yeah.
Do you know, remember in like when we were a kid, like we're at the tail end of this. Remember when we were a kid? No. And like we'd be fucking, I don't know.
When we were a kid.
When we were one kid collectively.
Steve and Daragh.
And we broke away through adolescence. But do you remember when we were kids and like the internet wasn't as big then. So like if you heard something, like you just... accept it as gospel sometimes, and it can be complete just random made up shit, like the kid in the Frosties ad with the pencils, stuff like that, and it was like none of that's true, but you were like
urban legends.
Exactly, it's interesting, so you believed it, whereas now you can look it up on the internet and say that's bullshit. Okay, so just pretend there's no internet, so just say the lads and the lads podcast. Okay. Whatever topics we discuss, we might do like really really small bits of research. Well, you know, we'll do some, but like, I don't want you to holding us accountable for whatever bullshit we come out with. Anyway.
Nice. Okay. What's the podcast going to be? So, you know, we spent ages planning this out. Like, is it going to be just complete shit talk? Are we going to do it very news related? Yeah. Is it going to just be for lads? I'm like, oh, the name, the Lads Podcast.
Yeah,
so, first of all, I'd like to say, and we're coming to us and our just kind of like hot takes, like lads is a gender neutral term. Oh, yeah. I strongly believe that.
Yes.
And if it's not, it is now.
Again, don't hold the lads accountable for saying that.
But mean,
no, I agree with you.
I agree.
I think, well, especially in Ireland, like, you know.
But the idea, yeah, so it's kind of the Lads Podcast. It's for everyone.
There you are, all the lads.
Do you know? And it comes from our series where we kind of became popular in online in Cork, really.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, coming up 3 years ago now that happened.
Do you remember that?
Old.
That was great.
Remember that?
Every time we went to town, which was every week.
Yeah.
Every weekend.
Yeah.
And they'd be like, I love your videos.
They'd say it to you.
Yeah, they'd actually say it to me, and I'd be like, they're not my videos, actually, they're my buddies. But
and they'd be like, I don't fucking care about him.
Because I'm so fucking humble.
Yeah.
And then eventually I just started saying, nice one, brother. Yeah, there'll be more coming soon.
That's a sign of humility to say you're really fucking humble, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm humble and then I fuck it up. The honour meter was up here and I brought it down to here.
That's it.
Everything's a video game.
And as well as that, yeah, we had our series 3 years ago and we were like, we're kind of known in a sense, well, from people that were watching us back then. I'm sure there's new viewers who don't have a clue about that old stuff, but that's where we kind of came from. We're the lads.
That was when it was Facebook videos more than now it's kind of more TikTok.
TikTok, Instagram. Gotta adapt or die. Anyway, here's a fun fact. This has nothing to do with anything. Do you know why? You know the company, is it Richard Branson who did Virgin Media? Do you know why that?
Sure. Probably.
Maybe.
Bill Gates. Yup Richard.
So you know when Bill Gates started Virgin Media?
Oh yeah.
Do you know why he called it Virgin Media?
Because he's a big fucking virgin.
Yes. No, well, yes, but it was more so himself and his business partner were like, they were virgins to business.
Oh, right.
So they were like, what we called the company. Virgins.
Very, very clever.
So you're very welcome to the Virgin Podcast, where we're just two fucking virgins.
But we're actually virgins. And that we've never had sex.
We haven't? Right, so the actual topic of today, I hope you're still listening. If you are, thank you. The actual topic is the Leaving Cert. So, suppose first thing we'll do is we'll talk about our experiences.
Yeah, sounds good.
Steve?
Yes.
How was your Leaving Cert last year?
Yeah, so last year I did the Leaving Cert.
You did?
I did Lebac.
How'd you get on?
Brilliant, actually.
How many points?
523, because now you get them every, there's no 5 multiples anymore, is there?
Jesus. I'm out of touch, man.
I know.
When I was reading in for about this podcast, and I was all like, H this, H that.
I think I got my head around that, but maybe not.
Okay, but in all seriousness, how was your Leaving Cert?
I actually, to be honest with you, I was a fairly bang average student. You know, I think I got like 400 points or something, so I was fairly I worked for that though.
Objectively, that's quite good.
It is, but like I wasn't like naturally, like a lot of guys like just barely had to study and they were getting way, but I had to kind of work to that. But like, I was fairly bad for the junior cert, but for the Leaving, I just really got my mainly organisation is why I really liked it. I don't know, I actually kind of
wait, hang on, you really liked it.
I kind of liked the chaos and the structure of it. But no, at the time I got so into that routine, as stressful as it was, I genuinely got into the routine of my fucking homework, study, and like trying to work around social life around it. And I actually didn't mind it. And I guess mainly I liked it because I got exactly the points that I wanted to get for my course. So it's hard to look back. No, obviously I hated a lot of bits, which will come out.
What didn't you like?
Being honest, it was
maths.
No, I loved maths.
Of course you did. Look at you. God almighty, I'm learning too much about you. I don't want to do the podcast anymore.
I loved maths. Do you know what? It was mainly stupid, petty things. Like if I had a personality clash with the teacher, that really affected my.
Would you literally
subject.
Fight?
Oh fuck! It's full on scraps, like
because the karate man, like.
Oh yeah, they were afraid of me. They were like, "Leave Steve do what he wants. Like he'll fucking knock you out."
Teach the class.
Yeah, so I taught the class then. That's why I didn't do as well in my Leaving Cert because
you were teaching the rest of the lads.
That's the thing. Like so, I did
fairness.
No, but you know,
respect that.
It's easy to look back on the Leaving Cert and say, "Oh, do you know what? It wasn't actually that bad." But actually, it was when you haven't had context.
Horrible.
Yeah, but as well as that, like, you know, like, I think 6 subjects or no 7. You take 7, don't you? And
yeah.
some freaks take 8. One outside of school. Like,
Oh, God.
No, but seriously, 7 subjects. And I don't know, the ones I did anyway, I did English, Irish, Maths, French, history, geography, and music. Yeah. And history was just fucking 3 subjects in one, boy.
It was.
What's your favourite Tupac album?
My favourite, Machiavelli, Tupacalypse Now, All Eyes on Me.
That was a joke.
Oh, right, sorry.
How was your Leaving Cert experience?
It was shit. It was.
Yeah, you hated it.
I fucking hated everything. It wasn't so much school. I did hate school. I suppose I was a slow learner. I found school tough as the years went on and on.
Yeah.
I had terrible attention problems. I hated studying. So at the start of the 6th year, as you recall, you were there.
I was there, but
I went through my very first breakup. And this was like September.
See, lads, personal life has to come into the Leaving Cert.
I know, that's the thing. That's
mental health, man.
Exactly.
What's that?
The thing was, it was my first ever breakups, and obviously completely emotionally immature.
Young fella.
Uneducated about mental health or anything like that. So I had a crap. So I started the year on a low. Do you remember me? I was a brat. I was a bitter little fucker.
Yeah, actually, looking back, you were...
Bit of a brat.
Yeah, you were, weren't you?
I was, yeah. I was going through a tough time, boy. Yeah, it was all...
because we were kind of drinking a lot at the time.
We were drinking
and you hated
every
drinking.
night.
And you still hate drinking.
Hated drinking.
And you were always like,
man.
do we have to go drinking? Like, and I was like, yeah, boy, gats, come on, boy.
I didn't like drinking. I hated the taste of any of the alcohol
I think it's to do with the first experience you had with drink. You just got
That's another podcast in its
own.
own.
We'll talk about that another time.
Podcast.
We'll talk about drinks some podcast.
Anyway, Leaving Cert was kind of crap, and I was struggling in school. I remember even just being in French, and I was in higher level of French at the time, and I just didn't give a fuck. Hated it. Yeah. And the teacher was like, do you want to go out to pass? And I didn't even fight her. I was just like, yeah, grand. So
Thank you.
Thank you. What do we think about the Leaving Cert being cancelled? What do you think? Genuinely.
I guess it's a good idea.
Do you think?
I mean, it's probably got some bad things too, though.
Yeah, it's a hard one to have a strong opinion on because we're not at that age. I put myself into what I was like at that age. I'd have been absolutely delighted because I just didn't have to do them. I would have also been annoyed, which I'd say a lot of Leaving Cert students are.
And
they
guilty.
spent 2 years nearly studying, putting in the graft, paying for grinds.
Yeah.
And then,
Jesus, all
then
that.
it's gone. Now, look, they'll still probably get a good grade in the predictive grades. I'm sure.
Well, apparently that's going to open up a lot of hassle as well. I was talking to a teacher friend of ours.
Do you know teachers?
I actually do, but yeah.
Fuck, you're
See,
cool.
I used to be beating up the teachers, as we said,
So
and now I know them.
Now you're friends with them.
No, this is now we're friends with
very
them.
good.
This person was actually saying that they reckon that the predictive mark is going to be abolished because apparently now. Like teachers have like immunity from being like sued or whatever because of this. Because otherwise, like they could just be fucking sued constantly all around the country.
Timmy didn't get into
got
archaeology and Trinners, and he didn't know. So
Timmy was supposed to go to Trinners. See you in Cork, boy.
See you in Cork.
See you in Cork.
You're coming down to Cork.
Got a lawsuit in
and
Cork.
I'll batter you.
Yeah, so apparently that's going to open a fucking fierce can of worms. And you know what? Because I actually do remember, but just to bring back to Plot A about how certain things I didn't like about the Leaving Cert was personality clashes with teachers.
Yeah.
Because I was a good enough boy in school. Okay. Do you know what I was? I was a lovable rogue. I would mess. But I would know when I was like going too far and I'd bring it back.
So far in this podcast, we've learned that you're humble, you're a lovable rogue. Whoa, you're sounding really good.
I'm also a fucking virgin.
That too, yeah. Bring you down to earth, you know?
Yeah, oh yeah. No, but I was kind of that way. I'd be kind of not cheeky, not disrespectful, but a bit of crack, like, you know?
Yeah.
And I remember one particular teacher fucking hated my guts. I don't know why. Because this particular teacher, you know... They were quite stern. Okay. So I kind of knew, all right, there's no lovable rogue in this class. I'm being good, you know. But my fucking pre and 6th year came back. It was history. And I know, the Christmas exams, basically, November fucking thing. So I fucking came back and I failed it because literally, again, the absolute fucking workload you have, I was like, look, I don't have fucking time to study history now. I was like, I've got to get good in my Irish maths. You know what I mean? So I was I'll focus more on this after because you just don't have the fucking time. Like, no, but I do remember that teacher, after that, she like, they loved me up until then. Like, we were, you know, we got on great and I was fairly all right. And oh my God, I was fucking muck then, me and another student.
Right.
But like, I guarantee that teacher, if she had my, if she was giving me the mark, what's it called?
Predictive grade.
Predictive grade. I guarantee she'd be like, fuck him. You know what I mean? No, she would have, like, you know.
Interesting. So, yeah, I guess there's the pros, there's the cons.
Like, to be fair, there's probably more pros. I'd say that's an anomaly. And also, given the pandemic, even people like that wouldn't be like, fuck him that easily. Everyone has basic compassion, you know what I mean? So
cool.
I'm not totally giving out about my past teachers.
To break the fourth wall, speak to our audience for a second, is another part of this podcast. So we'll give our own kind of lived experience, which you just heard. The second part is we'll go off and do a little bit of independent research on the topic in general, and we won't tell each other what we've discussed. We're going to come together in the podcast and discuss that. And the third part, which we'll get to after this section, is our little audience interaction, but you'll hear when we get to it. So, part 2, Steve, what did you learn about the Leaving Cert? Did you look into the Leaving Cert? What did you
I did
research?
nothing, boy.
Neither did I. Podcast over. Thanks for tuning in, guys. See you next week.
No, I was reading a bit just about it, you know, and the one thing that I fucking think was mad, this is something I never really cared about when I was in school, but you know the bell curve thing?
Yeah.
And I didn't, now to be honest, I didn't get too much, like it's actually hard to find a lot of, this is mainly from talking to teachers and stuff.
Okay.
But the whole fitting the marks into the bell curve. Do you know anything? Were you reading about that?
Yes, I know, I'm aware of it, in which like there will always have to be X amount of students that fail, and there will always have to be X amount of students that pass, which is, I think, a load of bollocks, but
fucking complete bollocks.
But is it there for a reason? Is it there?
Yeah, it is, and we'll get to that. But like, I think this is what I think anyway.
Okay.
Like, again, don't hold us accountable for any fucking opinions
Disclaimer,
on it. But
this is shit talk.
But 2.5% or something of people have to get an A in one in higher level English, or sorry, a H1 or an H2, and whatever, you know, it has to be fairly even. And even, I actually heard this too, that if there's a school in like a disadvantaged area, that they have to kind of sit on where they are in the curve. Yeah. And the marking schemes are literally fucking worked around that.
It's bollocks.
And literally, if it's a case of you have too many H1s, I keep thinking of A1s and A2s, but if you have too many H1s, they'll bring it fucking down to fit the fucking curve. What the fuck? What the fuck is up with that?
Man, it's the man. It's classism at the end of the day.
It is though, like.
From an outsider opinion, someone who's not on the inside, I don't really know how this works, it sounds like absolute classism.
As I say, we can't, like, I can't be like, fuck it, it's wrong, because I'm sure there's a good argument for why it's the way it's. And I can't really think of why.
But our laddie opinions.
But we're just having crack, like.
We're only messing.
But isn't that mad? Especially the whole, if your school is in a disadvantaged area and they have to go according to what the curve already is and stuff, you know, it's
on
fucking
it
mad,
then,
like.
when I was doing my research, I didn't really look into the Leaving Cert.
Were you doing research, right?
No, I did nothing. Research isn't cool.
Were you looking at international stuff, so like?
I was kind of, I looked at the American SATs.
Oh yeah, I didn't look at them because I was going through a bit of Europeans, like France and Germany, and then I got to America or whatever. That'll do.
Can I go on?
You can, but yeah,
Thanks,
sorry.
bye.
I just love the fucking sound of my own voice.
Okay, anyway, so yeah, I did a bit of research on the American SATs, which stands for Scholastic Aptitude Test.
Is that what it?
That's my research done. I just found out what SAT stands for.
I always heard of SATs. What the fuck? What's Scholastic?
Scholastic.
What's that mean? Like
school?
You know,
remember the Scholastic Book Fair? It just means school.
Do you remember school? Wait, what? Scholastic?
Yeah, Scholastic Aptitude Test.
All right, fair play.
Fun fact, it started from racism. Genuinely, the guy, I didn't write his name down, but the guy who came up with it, he did this test and he found out that, you know, people who were white got better results, and then people who are not white, as the went down the spectrum, they got worse results. And he was like, "Oh, it must be due to race." It was like, no, yeah. He put on fucking galaxy brain hot take. He comes to all the lads like, "Guys, it's the color of your skin." No, it's not.
Guys, guess what?
No, it's not. You big fucking idiot.
Big fucking racist.
It was down to obviously down to poverty.
It's nearly almost linked to the bell curve. That's reaching.
But yeah, that's what I kind of noticed. Now that's where it kind of started from. Yeah, but as a test itself, it's interesting. So with the Leaving Cert, you have your, 20 options. You break it down to 6 to 8 subjects or whatever. Yeah. It's interesting. In the SATs, it's broken up into just 3 segments.
Yes.
Reading, writing and language, and math.
Oh yeah,
not maths,
like arithmetic.
But
math. Yeah, it's math. It's singular. You only have one math to do.
You just
we've got about 5,000.
Take out the page and it's like, there's the math, and you're like, oh fuck, I didn't look at this math.
Yeah, they have like you can do geometry or algebra independently and all this.
Yeah.
Mad boy, isn't it?
It is.
Here, what about the English A levels? What you reckon about them?
Oh,
they seem fairly grand, man.
They are. I've heard good things. I've actually a little story about
Go on,
this.
Tell us a story.
A few years back, myself and my friends went to Birmingham to go to a concert, right? And on the flight back, I sat next to a girl a few years younger than me, and she was doing her A-levels.
On the plane.
And she was doing them on the plane, yeah. She was like,
they're allowed to do them at home. And
she was like, will you stop interrupting? I was like, what's that? And the examiner was sitting next to her.
He was like, hey, you, shut up.
Hey, shut up. But anyway, we ended up chatting just about, A-levels. And she was like, oh, I had a camera on me because I was fucking vlogging, of course.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, we started talking about cameras, and she knows cameras as well. And she was like, oh, I'm doing photography for my A-levels.
Oh, that's class.
And I was like, fuck off. I have to do maths.
That's class. I
have to do French. Yeah. It's so as far as I'm aware,
subjects are mad. Like.
As far as I'm aware, yeah, the A levels. There's a huge spectrum of subjects. Like it makes sense.
Well, we have the Leaving Cert applied, which is based around.
Is that LCA?
Yes.
Okay.
And that's kind of based more around preparing for like trades and more hands-on real things.
Yeah.
You have like hairdressing and more construction-based things and like secretarial stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Can I jump in? My research correlates, right? I was looking into Le Bac.
Oh, I like Le Bac, actually.
Le Bac it's not too far off the Leaving Cert.
Yeah, it's quite similar.
But I learned it's kind of broken up into 3 different things. There's Le Bac General Technologique. My friend's pronunciation.
I think that means technology.
How'd you know that?
I don't know.
Do you speak French?
I actually, yeah.
Steve Collins is fluent in French. And then finally, Le Bac Professional. It's interesting. So, Le Bac General, your general economics, social stuff, literature, scientific. Then Le Bac Technology, we'll just say, it prepares students for working in labs, management, arts.
See, that's pretty cool. That's a bit structured.
And then finally, Le Bac Professional, that's for stuff if you want to start work immediately after secondary school or go into a trade.
Instead of going to third
level.
It's
already, we just have black and white Leaving Cert.
But you see, that's what I mean. It's fucking archaic. But like, and as I say, I actually kind of liked the Leaving Cert because I just got so into the system. But when you think about it, it's so fun. But yeah, seriously. But like when you've got the as I say, you do have the LCA, and I think that's supposed to be the kind of like, it's supposed to be more like that, but I think it's just designed so badly, and there's a lot of snobbery about everything too.
Absolutely,
isn't there? There's people, no, you have to do the Leaving Cert established, which is the kind of because there's the LCVP, LCA, and just LC, which is Leaving Cert established.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of it really
isn't specialized to different types of intelligence.
Nah, well, that's
at all.
Fuck, it isn't like, but I don't know, like
I struggled because I'm bad at rote learning. I have a terrible memory. I can't. I have a poor attention span. I find it hard to study. All this kind of stuff. So I suffer. But then you love learning stuff off.
I kind of do because I'm kind of right-brained. I like being creative in ways, but like you're much more
left brain.
Yeah, that's the one, the opposite right. But you are, do you know what I mean? Like you're an example of that in comparison to me. So it suited me in some ways. Like I wasn't great at regurgitating a lot, but I loved the absolute structure of I want to learn all this. Do you know that kind of way?
For sure.
Because I was a big freak. But
yeah.
Yeah, but the like the A levels is just to go back to that one. Like you've got like 3 to 4 subjects.
Yeah.
And you do. And also, this is the other thing we'll get to, is the fucking after 2 to 3 years of doing one exam at the end of that.
Yeah. Whereas
the A-levels, you've got one at the end of, say, let's say 50 or I don't know what, year fucking 10 or form, whatever the fuck
they have. No, it's similar to us. They've like 12.
It's something like that. But regardless, like they do, it's more continuous assessment that you actually do an end of year exams that are part of your A-levels. I think it's like AS.
Okay.
And then your final year, you do your A2.
Okay.
So it's like your A-levels are split, your 4 subjects are split into 2.
I'm learning.
Yeah, it's mad. Like it's
great.
Fucking weird. But like then the Leaving Cert is.
You should start a podcast, man. You know a lot of stuff.
Do you know I should? But do you think that's mad?
What's mad?
That we have to do the end of 2 years, because I think the back is the same. The back is like it's a very old one. Apparently Napoleon came up with back. It's like 200 years old. Right. I swear to God, it's like the oldest running. Thing like Leaving Cert. Like from the
obviously, we're looking at all these with the rose-tinted glasses because we're like, oh, I hate the Leaving Cert.
I hate what I have.
Oh no, I want something different.
Yeah, exactly. Like, no, I'm sure everything has its problems.
Like the SATs have their inequality as well, in which the Ivy League colleges, your Harvards, your Yales, and all that stuff only take the top 1%. That's it. They will not look at anyone else.
Of course.
Look,
it's all. It's
not gonna get into it. But
but that's what everything. Like, it's really hard to fucking. You just can't make everything work. But regardless, I don't know, and I know you're saying, I know the grass is greener on the other side, but I just when you look at the other things, like, oh, the fucking thing is mad. Like, on that point though, they are bringing a lot, like PE is an exam subject now in computer science.
Yes.
So maybe they're trying to.
Yeah, and like programming, politics.
Yeah, exactly. I like to see that though. So,
fairness,
you know, maybe it'll
things you like to see
better, as opposed to biology, economics, maths, history, geography, which are all, they're all important and they're great, but like, it'd be nice to have some more specialist kind of subjects.
All right, that's a lot of shit talk on the Leaving Cert. I don't think we came up with any definitive points.
Actually, that's so true. We just literally said, here, this happens there.
Oh,
yeah?
Yeah, you know
There's
what happens
no
over
conclusion.
there?
This is like an essay with fucking no conclusion.
But you know what? It's like real life. There's no conclusions in life.
Oh, man,
death.
yeah.
Oh, fuck, we forgot to talk about the Patreon. So, we've also set up a Patreon alongside this podcast. Now, I know it's early days. This is only the first one, and you might be like, I don't want to financially support something that's barely started. But if you do, you can just look up patreon.com/The Lads Podcast. That's one word. At the moment, there's 3 tiers. There's the Backhouse, because this is where we are, the Backhouse. There's the Backhouse Deluxe Edition and the Backhouse Ultimate Edition. And basically, as time goes on, we're going to start adding on to these tiers. At the moment, it's all a bit, coming soon. But the first one is just basically, if you want to support us and get access to the Patreon feed, maybe some behind-the-scenes stuff, €2 a month. That's all we're asking for.
It's grand, lads. Look, that's half a pint.
It's half a pint. But up to yourself, no bother. If you can't, no worries.
Yeah, do it.
But fucking do it. €50.
Come on.
€50 a week.
Come on, lads.
Cough
Get
up.
Come on to fuck. Give us your dollars.
Right. On to the final section of the podcast. This is where we will reach out to our lovely audience and ask for your opinions and hot takes and stories, or just maybe you can help kickstart the conversation, yourselves.
They better be roasting hot takes.
Oh, God. Just for context, so I put up a story yesterday, but it was over 24 hours, so all the people that wrote in, for some reason, it didn't archive, and I don't have them.
You big fucking idiot.
Yeah, but I do remember some of them, and one person actually wrote in with theirs, so we'll start off with Emmett.
How's it going, Emmett?
Basically, how are you, Emmett? Are you well?
I'm grand anyway, yeah.
Oh, that's good, Emmett. That's good, yeah.
Thanks, boy.
You sound a lot like Steve.
Oh, I know, Emmett.
Oh, sorry, Emmett.
Absolutely, Emmett.
Anyway, basically, Emmett I'll try paraphrase it as best I can, but people who are not in tune with the Leaving Cert and don't care about it, like himself, like us, would be great. He feels that people are put on edge as if it's the end of the road, and if you do bad, when realistically there are so many options in life, and exams won't define you. You know, something he would have loved to hear. So, okay, I'll try paraphrase that. Emmett's basically saying, the Leaving Cert, unfortunately, is this big be-all and end-all, and if you do badly, you're fucked. Oh, God, oh, no.
Oh, you're an outcast,
Yeah, and I had that fear as well. And so, let's just imagine there's a few people who are actually younger than Leaving Cert level. They're actually listening to us, somehow listening to these old men on their podcast.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I'd like to say on that, so while there's also, universities and colleges, which is the idea, it's like, oh, you go to UCC or CIT. Yeah. I'm like, there's also class PLCs.
I did a level 8 degree in music.
Right.
It was... college is what you put into it, to be fair, but...
Yeah. But that's
what I put into it was...
That's a really good point. I think any further education is what you put into it.
Exactly.
Genuinely, yeah, let's say you're worried about points or you didn't get the points. I'm like, yeah, well, maybe do a PLC and you probably end up getting a load of education, getting into work.
Totally.
I know of people working in, let's say, multimedia, videography, that I kind of feel that I'm in and around.
Yeah.
And there's guys who went to one of the local kind of just third level PLC kind of colleges and are now full on working. And then there's people who did my level 8 degree.
Same.
And
I did a level 8 degree in music and now I'm scaffolding.
And I
didn't even have to do my Leaving Cert.
I'm in a call centre, so what the fuck is the Leaving Cert? What the fuck is college?
There you go. Obviously I did my Leaving Cert and I did college, but I ended up scaffolding. I love it, and technically I wouldn't have needed a Leaving Cert to do it. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So you didn't need to go to college.
I didn't need to. It just so happened that I did, and I just ended up keep doing this job.
Yeah, and we know of people that have if you want to repeat it, if you feel like you have to, we know of people that have repeated.
Yeah, even years later. But do you know what's funny that I think that's spot on about the whole the be all end all thing about it. And I think 18. This is kind of slightly on a tangent, but I think 18. Some people are fucking 17 doing the Leaving Cert. Is very, very young to have that kind of foresight of what
for the rest of your life. Yeah, it is ridiculous.
But what age is your fucking prefrontal cortex, you know, that part of your brain.
Yes, 24 for men.
Yeah, there you go. I think women are younger, aren't they?
I think so.
They're a bit more, like, usually they're a bit more copped on, I think, younger or something.
Yeah, their brains might develop a bit faster.
I think they develop earlier,
Again,
I think.
Don't believe a word we say.
Don't quote us on this, but I heard this.
Your man was down the alley. He was like, "Your boy," he ran up to me, night out.
As we said at the start of the podcast, there's no internet, so we can't fact check it.
He was like, "Oh boy, girls' brains grow way faster." No, they do, and he ran off.
And we just said, yeah.
I was like, "Do you know what? He's dead right."
It's probably like...
Probably.
But yeah, no, apparently, like, regardless, like, you're either male or female, you're definitely at least 20 by the time. So you're past
You're not a teenager.
So you don't have that fucking foresight to
and then you have to, you go off and you do a whole undergrad, and then what happens is either people, they drop out after a year or 2 years or 3 years because they're going, I don't want to do this. What am I doing here?
Yeah, absolutely.
Or they finish the degree and go, well, that was a waste of fucking 4 years.
Do you think, like, because adolescence, and do you know the way the concept of a teenager is, like, again...
Only for marketing.
Fact check this. Yeah, but it's only there since, like...
50s.
Isn't it? Yeah, it's something like 70 years ago.
Yeah, you used to finish, you'd grow up, you'd be a teenager, and you're like, you're a man now.
Yeah,
you're
once
a woman
you
now.
hit puberty, essentially, it's like you're a woman, you're a man, that's kind of it.
Grow up, come on.
Yeah, and you just, go off to work, and obviously there was less people educated then too.
Sure.
Now, whereas now everyone's very educated, like a lot of people
we're
go
highly
yeah.
educated.
But like that, like I think, isn't it, where did I hear this before about... I don't know, I forgot. I heard this somewhere that, like, maybe they should reconsider the adolescent period and extend it to like 22 or 23 or something, because, well, yeah, I swear to God, because the way society is kind of gone, it's like, well, sure, look at us, we're 25, we both live at home with our parents.
Yeah.
That was kind of unheard of 20 years ago, you know what I mean? So,
yeah,
like,
true.
But, I wonder, should education go that way too? I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe
it could, like,
gap years should be a bit more encouraged.
Yeah, that would be.
You finish school.
Yeah.
You take a year out to work, to travel, you get out of that horrible year of leaving cert and just go, get a bit of real world experience.
Look, bottom line is, it's all fucked. It needs to change to what? I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows?
We do.
Just change it to something else, and then we'll give out about that and talk about how that's wrong as well.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
We'll always be critics, and we'll never actually contribute positively to the conversation.
And that's the way it goes. Did anyone else have any opinions for us?
They did, and now I didn't screenshot them or save them because
you're a fucking
big Egypt
loser.
Big Egypt. But I do remember one person wrote in. I forget his name. Sorry, bye. If you're listening. It was, what did you think of PE, ye pair of pricks? I remember that at the end because I was like,
you know what? Thumbs up for you.
What do you think of PE,
you big old prick? I fucking hated it.
I loved PE.
And no, I didn't hate it, but I wasn't good at, like, team sports. It was very badly coordinated when it came to, like, soccer and rugby and all that.
Yeah. Is this a leaving cert subject now?
Yeah, apparently it's an exam subject.
It wasn't for us anyway.
No,
God, I would have fucking loved it.
It was a free class.
I wasn't even. It was just a free class. But yeah, I wish for. I'm sure if it is a PE subject now, that's brilliant, because then for the people whose intelligence goes towards more physical things, fuck yeah, they get a subject where they can do really well. Whereas for
I bet you'd be hard. I bet you'd be very science orientated and about the. Actually, I think I heard that. I think it is actually a hard subject. It's very much about the human body, and so it's probably quite like biology.
Pity I did no research. Did anyone else write in? And I'm trying to remember because I didn't save it because I'm smart and plan well. Do
you know the thing about PE as well though? Before we go into that,
what?
It's like, but you remember how, like, by sixth year, like, half the people in the class would do PE and the rest wouldn't.
Yeah,
they'd be snapping. It's probably good that it's an exam subject now for that reason.
Yeah,
because everyone's just like, it's just a chance to do our homework.
Yeah.
And of course, the PE teachers, I understand that too, would be snapping. They'd be like, right, you're not doing your homework.
Yeah, I remember.
You're coming up to the pitch and watching people for 2 hours.
Yeah. Watch the boys play rugby.
Remember though, literally go up to like 20 people. Why aren't you in PE? Forgot my gear. I have an injury on my toe. Forgot my gear. I forgot my gear. I can't. I
have to do my homework. I forgot my gear.
Or I'll die. I forgot my gear.
We probably would have had much more audience contribution to this first podcast, but alas, I forgot to save them. But thank you to everyone who did write in. We'll be on to you for the next week's podcast and for your opinions and whatnot. Yep. I think we'll wrap it up. Steve, how do you think that went? Cameras?
It was fucking chaotic, right?
Chaotic, yeah.
It was very, sorry. Because
the microphones are off. Yeah.
Look, it was a bit chaotic, but it's our first song. Cut us a bit of slack. Like, we didn't do that bad,
I thought you were really shit.
Yeah. Yeah. How about we just try to do better next time?
No.
No,
No.
I think we should keep it this crazy energy too.
I do now. That was good fun.
No, it was good,
obviously,
good crack,
forgive us for the kind of the chaotic nature at the start. We're learning how to do it. This is we did do a bit of rehearsal, but this is the first one. This is the first one you're listening to, so it will be a bit mad.
Look, at least we acknowledged that we brought up a load of things with the leaving cert and didn't come to any conclusion. but we acknowledged it, like, you know, we just said, right, this and that.
We said weeks ago when we were doing all the planning for this, like, what do we want the podcast to be like, right?
Yes.
So big thing is, we're the lads. We're all the lads. Imagine we're just in the back house or in the sitting room in your gaff or whatever. Me and Steve are front and center in the middle of the kitchen having a big crazy conversation, and you're sitting there watching us. It's great. You're just sitting there in the background. Now, you're not allowed to talk.
No, you're not allowed to fucking speak. You were listening.
Not a word. You listen for an hour.
And you sit there. And
in your house.
You might get a glass of water, right?
But, like, we're not outside of earshot.
No.
But
and you can't fucking leave.
You can't.
Unless you put your hand up and then we say, yeah, go on.
In all seriousness, it's us having an old semi-structured mad chat about something that we find interesting or yourselves might find interesting, and you're like, look here, there's the boys.
Can I ask you something to wrap the podcast up?
What?
You've referred to this a few times and no one knows what you're on about.
Oh.
What's the back house, Daragh? Because this is also in the fucking Patreon. You were just like, yeah, so we have the back house. I was like, he's not explaining the back house. Bit of an in-joke.
In the Patreon, yeah. So the back house. Now, if you're for a lot of people are just going to be listening to this, so I'll have to describe it. And for the people that are watching, you're looking at it. So Steve's parents have a house.
They do, yeah. They do.
That's it, okay? All right, step one. Step two, down the very end of their back garden, about 10 or so years ago, they built a back house, a granny flat, whatever you want to call it.
We just call it the back house.
We call it the back house because it is literally the house at the back house. Yeah. And it's essentially a sitting room. So while it's great, you know, we both live at home with our parents for a big number of reasons, but the good thing is we at least have this back house for Daragh and Steve and all our pals. And it's a kind of little thing we want to bring to the podcast. Like, come on into the back house.
Come down into the back house and hang out with us, boys.
Where we hang out with friends, where we'd have our sessions, but where we just also talk shit. So that's where we all are. I know you might be listening to this on your commute to work, maybe while you're doing a bit of weeding out the front, maybe while you're in bed with a lover,
but just
listening to the podcast.
Yeah, but just
hey Alexa, play the lads podcast.
Yeah, and just imagine you're
while
down
in
said back house, right?
Yeah.
So look, that's the only time we're going to explain what the back house is. We just expect you all to know what the back house is now.
Yes.
Yeah, sound good?
Yeah, is that all right? No more questions.
No more fucking
questions. If I see a single person ask what the back house is, you're out.
You jump back into the fucking first episode, find out what the back house is. You have to go through the whole podcast, and at the very end, they explain what it is.
I can't wait to listen back to this in a few months and be like, oh, Jesus.
Oh, these guys, oh, fuck. What are they on about?
Okay, so look, we'll wrap it up. First of all, just thank you so much for anyone who gave this first podcast a chance. Yeah. We understand that it'll be a little bit rusty, little bits to improve on. We're aware of it. We're going to do our best. What we'll say is, like, look, what did you think of this first podcast? What do you genuinely think we could improve on? What did you like? What didn't you like?
It was shit.
It was I mean, yeah.
It was shit. Fucking shit.
Oh, fuck yeah.
It was fucking give up. He's really fucking
shit. Oh, God. And keep an eye on our social media. Just look up Lads Podcast, The Lads Podcast, whatever, to find us on Instagram and whatnot. And maybe we'll be asking you to contribute to what we'll discuss next. Any goodbye notes, Steve?
Goodbye. That's all my goodbye notes. Thanks for listening. It was good fun. And look, everything you said, I can't really elaborate more on that.
That's grand.
Do you know what I mean?
I do.
It's grand. Right, nice one. Cheers.
See you next week.
God bless.
Bye-bye.
Yort.